So happiness keeps you sweet, trials keep you strong, sorrows keep you human, failures keep you humble, success keeps you glowing, but only faith keeps you going. Before science was faith, right? Everything that God created was by faith. I always tell people there's faith in science. I don't know if there's science in faith. Science has actually strengthened my faith. So, and I'll give you a little story how this has happened to me. I was taking care of a patient one time. He was transferred from another hospital, for me to do an interventional procedure, and he was having a heart attack. And the doctor that transferred me is a Muslim. I didn't want to intervene because he had blockages everywhere. It was very high-risk procedure, so we're treating him medically. Then they called me and said, things were going bad, we need to take him in. So I told the doctor, I said, okay, I have to take him in. And he said, well, may God be with you. I took him in, opened the artery, everything was flowing, and all of a sudden, everything disappeared, like everything shut down. Everything just shut down. And to the point where he was in ICU, was in intensive care unit. Everything started going wrong. They took him to the operating room twice. We had to do chest compressions like 5 times. His heart stopped beating. He went into renal failure. They intubated him, put him on machine support and all that. And then one day I came in, they told me that he had no brain function and he was dead. Pretty much. So I remember I went home that day and I prayed to God and I said, the way you called Lazarus out of the death, you need to call him out, And even though I said that prayer, to be honest with you, I wasn't 100% sure it was going to happen, because a lot of times we say these prayers, but, we're not confident it's going to happen. Anyway, I came back, and in the morning, the first thing that happened was, so he came from jail, so they always have the security people. So that morning, there was no security person. So the nurse called me and said, you need to call the jail and tell them there's a security breach, because the security is not there. So I was wondering, I went in, and his eyes were wide open. So they extubated him, blah, blah, blah. He was doing fine. So it turned out that the jail, I think they realized that he was dead, or maybe they heard that he was whatever. So they actually discharged him from jail. They let him go.
Wow.
So he went from the hospital home, not back to jail.
Wow.
Yeah. Before he went, I looked around. There were nurses not around, so I closed the curtains and I told him he had to give his life to Christ. So I said, God saved you for a purpose. So for me, that's where science and faith interjects. But for me, at that point, I realized that faith is very strong. What we do as doctors, we help people, but you have to believe in God, because a plant cannot grow if it is not planted. And it cannot be planted if it's not connected. Sure. So you have to be connected, and you have to be connected to the source.